I know what you're thinking. You're breaking down a press conference instead of searching for the homie Macho Man?
I will remember.
Macho Man? But I created a poll, and the people have spoken. Let me break it down for you. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Jesse, and I'm the founder and grandmaster of MMA, Mexican martial arts. I'm very happy to let you know that this video is sponsored by the Ridge Wallet. More on that later. You know what I think is very interesting? The UFC is taking drastic measures to prevent spreading the flu. No fans in the arena, location changes, even canceling events altogether. But they don't seem to care about preserving the most important fight in the history of the UFC. Besides Michelle Waterson and Paige Van Zandt. They're still letting that fool walk around with his shades on. That's more of a threat to the fight than the virus. Supposedly, it's because Dana feels bad about the Reebok deal and that Tony is sponsored by Sunglasses Hut. But that's not enough for Tony. That fool's still living on the edge with his chair backwards and everything. He lost his first title defense to a microphone cable. Imagine what a folding chair will do to him. Hey, Tony, I know you think you're doing your part with the gloves and everything, but they're fingerless, homie. That's where all the germs are. It's an empty gesture, just like all your virtue signaling. First of all, you're acting like Khabib did something wrong just for training with the high school wrestler.
You like beating on high school wrestlers?
And B, you're criticizing him for giving money to the homeless. Both of these things were acts of charity. Chase Aldate is a high school wrestler, and he wanted the best grappler in the UFC to help him train for state. Khabib is currently preparing for the biggest fight of his life, but he still took the time to honor Chase's request and give him a free lesson. And now you want to guess who's the new state champion? Yeah. And then he's crying because Khabib's crew was paying some homeless vatos to do push-ups. Hey, I just hit 300 before this video, and guess how much I got paid? Nothing. I wish I could make money doing push-ups. What else was he supposed to do? Give him a bunch of money for nothing? That's bad for work ethic. Khabib's trying to instill values into their lives while getting them physically fit. Maybe they'll be state champions someday. But Tony doesn't think like that. He's too negative, too gloomy. That's why he was all dressed in black. He was trying to play it off like he thought he was Hitman.
I told you I'm a hitman.
But even Hitman doesn't look that depressing. Hitman wears a white shirt and a red tie. And if he happens to kill a clown, he's even more laid back. Tony went another way. Tony looked like Donald Cerrone before his fight with McGregor. Ready to be buried in cash from taking a dive. But Tony's never been more confident, and it's probably because he's actually sparring this time. He admitted that he hasn't sparred at all during his last several fights.
I haven't sparred since T-Bow.
Which was obvious to me. He got pieced up by Barboza, practically TKO'd by Kevin Lee, and took a little nap during the Pettis fight. That fool takes more damage than Brendan Schaub's comment section, but his confidence is unshakable. Look at the way he sits. There's only two things that make someone sit like that: confidence and hemorrhoids, or both. But hemorrhoids or not, Khabib respects his skills. And I respect Khabib for respecting Tony's skills. But what I can't respect is the blatant racism. It's 2020. I'm gonna get shadow banned if I use the wrong pronoun. But you're gonna be making fun of people's last names?
Really big name, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And that's not even funny. That's like if I said, hey Tony, what's the Wi-Fi password for your ears? It's too easy. And then on top of that, he's fat shaming him.
Fat.
We already.
You're about the same size as like Cormier right now, dude.
Hey Tony, haven't you heard of Lizzo? People are supposed to be fat now. Diabetes is a myth. But he's blinded by that rage, and he's insisting that Khabib owes him money.
You owe me 200K.
You're crying that Khabib gave a few bucks to the homeless, but now you're asking for a handout? Make up your mind, Spencer. I know that Tony doesn't like it when people start talking about his mind.
I commend you for going headfirst into some mental health issues and working through that. It takes a lot of courage as a professional athlete, especially. A lot of people look up to you. You.
Tony Ferguson's the type of guy that makes Henry Cejudo cringe, but then he gets mad if you want to talk about it. What he did want to talk about was street fighting.
He's never been in a street fight, never actually been thrown into a trash can.
Tony has been in a bunch of trash cans throughout his life, and he's a little bitter about it. But you can't let your emotions get the best of you and start saying stupid stuff. Khabib has been in more street fights than Tony has sunglasses. Wrap your head around that one. And then Tony's trying to turn the American fans against him just because he's pointing out facts.
All you Americans, right, that are cheering for this little
Hey, Tony, you can't just be street fighting in America without facing the legal repercussions. Unless you're Phoenix Jones. And look at how that turned out. Before I got the Ridge wallet, I used to be like you. I walked around with this catcher's mitt in my back pocket, and it almost destroyed my martial arts training. In this before and after photo, you can see how the Ridge wallet saved my posture. We don't think about how much pointless stuff we carry in our wallets. With this minimal front pocket design, all I need to carry are these cards that I haven't maxed out yet. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, and over a dozen different styles and colors. If you want to learn more, then scope out the 30,000 5-star reviews. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/voto. That's ridge.com/voto. And use code VOTO. Link in the description below. Khabib says that where he comes from, he could literally eat you in a street fight. And I believe him. Have you seen Dagestani food? Human's not that far off. But Khabib went ahead and flipped it on him. He was like, alright, when's the last time you were in a street fight?
When you fight in street. Tell me when you fight in street.
But all Tony wanted to talk about was where he's from.
I'm from Oxnard.
What? What is this? What is this, Oxford?
And then he made sure to mention where else he's from so that he doesn't lose any fans.
And Muskegon, Michigan.
Hey.
But Khabib kept pressing. He wanted to know when Sunglasses was actually in a street fight.
When you fought last time in street, tell the people true.
And after Tony had a few moments to decide how he wanted to respond, this was the best that he could come up with.
Tell
Last
the
time I
people
fell in the
true.
street, man, it was a one-punch knockout.
What?
But hey, One Punch Man's not afraid. He seems to not be worried about his comebacks or his training. But Khabib's not buying it, and neither am I. As soon as the press conference is over, Tony starts training in his jeans. All of a sudden, that fool's trying to get ready for his first street fight. He's even wearing a bow and the Kenneth Coles. But somehow, the weirdest part about this video is that he's not wearing sunglasses. But that's not why you're here. You already know this. You've seen the Instagram posts. You've watched Tony Ferguson being weird. The reason you keep asking for this video is because you want to know what I think of Khabib calling Tony a fake Mexican. Some of you want to know if I was offended, and some of you want to know if I agree. Mira, I'm what you might refer to as a Chicano, like Selena. So I gotta prove to the Mexicans how Mexican I am, and I gotta prove to the Americans how American I am. I gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans, and more American than the Americans.
Nobody knows how tough it is to be a Mexican American.
Do I forgive Khabib for not quite realizing that Oxnard is in California? Of course. The only two places in Russia that I know are Dagestan because of Khabib and McDonald's. Do I forgive Khabib for thinking that Tony's not Mexican just because his last name is Ferguson? Definitely. Names in America are a tricky thing. Mira, Bobby Lee, Kevin Lee, Ray Allen, Woody Allen, Jaleel White, Jack Black. We're breaking down racial barriers today. I'm not gonna hold it against Ferguson just because his last name isn't Mendez. But I will forever hold that cringy Spanish against him.
Yeah, tienes suerte, porque no te dé de una putiza, güey.
El mío no es mucho mejor, pero el papel de lija Demono nunca intenta.
Everybody raise your hand if you think I'm in his head already.
I was actually a little surprised that they were allowed to face off after such a heated press conference. I figured that Dana would try to keep them from doing something crazy and jeopardizing the whole fight. And it almost happened. Dana tried his best to keep the two men separated, but Tony disrespected the hand that feeds him. Literally, he pushed his hand away and made him look like a punk. But Tony got his comeuppance. That's right, I know big words, when Khabib kicked the bout away. And I don't blame Khabib for kicking the bout. He was probably just trying to get it out of the way so that Tony wouldn't trip on it. But Tony got all sad about it, so he probably didn't see it that way. He continued to grow more and more upset. And then the nice man took him away. Mira, I know a lot of you are concerned right now because of the virus. Dana promised that the fight would happen no matter what.
You little liar.
But there's still not a venue. Hey, don't even trip. We might be looking at a street fight after all. I hope you enjoyed this video, but now I gotta go find Macho Man.
Oh yeah!
Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking now. Late. That's like if I said, hey,